This video, I'm going to be comparing the Sonic movies to the airbud franchise because in part 1 of this series, I compared Sonic to Garfield, Sonic 1. I compared the airbud franchise to the Exorcist franchise, airbud 1. So now I'm going to compare these two franchises. When you look at highest score for each franchise, Sonic 2 has a 69%. When you look at Airbud, you actually have a total of 14 movies. I did not realize there were that many until I looked it up recently. This is including all the different spin-offs. This is a franchise I'm not particularly familiar with. I've seen the first film for sure. I've seen one other film. Pretty sure it's the second one, the first sequel to the original film. I owned the original Airbud movie along with the first sequel to it on VHS tape back when me and my parents lived in New York. I distinctly remember watching the original Airbud, but I don't remember watching the second film, to be honest. I'm just pretty sure that I had it on VHS tape and watched it at least once, but I don't actually remember it. Out of 14 movies, only 3 of them are actually fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, and even then, they're barely fresh. The highest score is only 64% for this movie called Air Buddies. When you look at lowest score for each franchise, Sonic 1 has a 64%. When you look at Airbud, almost all these movies are rotten. Lowest score is a 20% for this movie called Santa Buddies. Sonic has won both the rounds so far. Then when you look at average score, with Sonic, you have an average of 66. With Airbud, you have an average of 49. Then when you look at gap between lowest and highest score, well, with Sonic, you only have a gap of 5%. With Airbud, it's definitely a bigger gap, 44%. Sonic has won every round so far, so it's going to win no matter what. And in this case, I'm easily, no contest, going to choose Sonic. This is also a franchise that's nostalgic for me, because back when me and my parents lived in New York, I actually had a Wii. I remember very well playing Wii Sports Resort, Mario Kart, and Smash Bros. So I remember Sonic from Smash Bros. I didn't own any of the Sonic games specifically, but I played Super Smash Bros. That had, well, a lot of characters in it. Sonic, Mario, Luigi, Bowser, Peach, Donkey Kong, and a whole bunch of others. And then when I went to college at Southwest Minnesota State University up in Marshall, Minnesota, I used to play Mario Kart and Smash Bros. On the Nintendo Switch with people I knew there. I didn't personally own a Nintendo Switch, but these people I knew had one, so I'd play with them. And I actually got to see both Sonic 1 and 2 in theaters and had a great time watching both these movies. And I think that both of them do a good job of being fun, entertaining, delivering for fans of Sonic, while also not being perfect. When you look at the first Sonic, I think it does feel weird, honestly, that this is a road trip movie because, well, Sonic is famous for being a speedster. He's famous for being super fast. So when you watch the movie and he's actually just in a car for a good amount of the runtime, just feels odd. And it's like, oh, we're just on Earth pretty much the whole time, even though there's a whole bunch of other planets you can explore. As established in the opening scene of this movie, there's a bit of disappointment that comes with that. And when you look at Sonic 2, I think the movie could have been improved if you either cut the wedding out of the movie completely or rework it so that it actually ties in more to what's going on with Sonic and Tails, or just reduce the amount of time we spend at the wedding. Because whenever I watch this movie, every time we cut back to the wedding, I'm just thinking, filmmakers, can we please cut away from the wedding and get back to Sonic and Tails? That's what I'm more interested in. I don't really care what's going on here at the wedding. This isn't really the kind of thing I want from a Sonic movie. But I still think that the actor who plays Sonic does a great job in both movies. The acting is quite good. I like the stories told in both movies. I think Knuckles is a good addition in Sonic 2, along with Tails. Now, I think the first Airbud movie is really good. I'm a big fan of this one. It's a very heartwarming, wholesome movie that's not cynical. You have this clown who's definitely the bad guy. He treats his dog badly, and we see that he's a terrible clown. He's bad at his job. And then we see this dog find a boy, Josh, who's moving into a new town with his mom. We see that Josh is missing his father, who unfortunately died, and also Josh is pretty shy, so he's not really making any friends at the school he's attending. But meeting this dog is actually what gives Josh confidence, causes him to come out of his shell, and actually leads to him joining the basketball team. And that by the end of the movie, he's actually much happier. In fact, the basketball team does much better with this dog on the team, which is pretty funny. But while both franchises are nostalgic for me, I would easily choose Sonic. So I'll wrap things up for this video.